Alien Romulus, a thrilling, terrifying film with unexpected horrors around every corner. You lean back in your theater recliner, pulling your jacket almost over your eyes. What new fright or surprise lies ahead? I saw this movie a few days before my 28th birthday. I brought a piece of paper I found in the car and a pen in with me and wrote down my thoughts on the film as I watched it. I probably looked silly to the people around me, but hey, I wanted to give you guys the best review that I could. For now, no spoilers, but a brief explanation of the plot is as follows. Rain is alone, living in a mining colony called Jackson Star. Her parents are dead and she doesn't have anyone. Well, that is if you don't include Andy. Andy is an android who was reprogrammed by her late father to act kind of like a sibling to her. He has one directive: do what is best for Rain. That and nothing else is what drives him, and he loves Rain as much as an android can love anything. Although his programming is a little glitchy and seems to be outdated, so Rain takes care of him as much as he takes care of her, making sure he stays out of harm's way. Ray has a directive too. No, a dream. To leave the sunless planet she calls home and get to Yavaga, a planet with a sun, in a colony, and safety. There's just one problem. She can't leave. There's a work shortage, and although she's completed the amount of hours she agreed to in her contract with Weyland-Yutani, the clerk denies her request to be sent to Yavaga and extends her work contract further. But then, Rain runs into Tyler, her ex-boyfriend. He's trying to get to Yavaga too, with a few friends and his sister, Kay. While Rain was planning on getting there legally, Tyler has different ideas. They already have a ship and a pilot, Navarro, but no hypersleep pods. Yavaga is a 9-year flight away, so hypersleep is a must-have. Well, it's simple. If they can break into an abandoned, derelict space station to steal its functioning hypersleep pods, their dreams will become a reality. Ray isn't sure about breaking all the laws that come with this plan. Mostly she's worried for Andy's safety as much as her own. But her dream of eventually seeing a son for the first time in her life and living out the rest of her days in happiness with Andy pushes her to agree. When they get there, the 3 girls stay on the ship, and Tyler, his friend Bjorn, and Andy board the station. Success. They found the pods, but they don't have enough juice. They wouldn't keep everyone asleep for the whole ride to Yavaga. Exploring the station more, they find a room with, could it be? Yes, more juice. But when they grab the fuel, they become locked inside the room. The door slides shut. The rest of the movie is an almost non-stop whirlwind of shock, awe, and exhilarating fear. I don't want to give away too much because really you should go see it for yourself. So for now, we will go over pros, cons, and some overall thoughts I had. Then at the very end, I will share my thoughts on some mild spoilers. Pros. Fede Alvarez. Fede Alvarez directed this film, along with one of my personal favorites, Don't Breathe, also Don't Breathe 2, and the Evil Dead remake. That movie messed me up. I love Fede's approach to film and directing. While I don't know a lot about him, I love his work and his passion for the art. This movie is littered with Easter eggs. I got the impression through my research that Fede himself is an Alien fan. And a fan is really the best person they could have picked to direct the film because fans care about the lore, the story. You can just tell that Fede cared here. Practical effects. Fede used a lot of practical effects here, and I just love that.
And action, fight.
Well, I think when it comes to horror, which was the whole goal with this movie, to really take it back to the roots of it, just practical is always scarier. When you feel it, you can see that the actor is, first of all, interacting with the creature. And when they have a face hugger in someone's face, you know, it gotta be real. When you have one jumping out of the water, it gotta be real. So, and when it comes to the xenomorph, when you have those face-to-face encounters, you know, there's just nothing beats the practical. It's really, really hard to do. And but everybody involved in the movie went above and beyond to really make sure we did the hard way for the audience, right?
As far as this movie appealing to the original fan base, I think that they'll really appreciate how much was done practically in camera. I think that it enhances the performance from the cast when they have a real thing flying at their face, or they have a real thing going into their mouth. It gives a lot more. We still rely on visual effects because they can do, you know, they can make 100 face huggers run down a hallway. But I think it's a really great marriage of visual effects and practical effects coming together.
It really feels like we've traveled through time, and I'm getting to experience like the first time being on a movie set where they use pretty much all practical effects, but we get all the perks of a modern day filming experience.
I was born in the late 90s and grew up watching Lord of the Rings and loving those practical effects. I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead and adore those practical effects. CGI is just so overused nowadays, and I cringe sometimes when I see it, knowing how expensive it is, and yet seeing that so often it looks so bad. Not an alien Romulus. Cinematography. This film is gorgeous. Romulus is beautifully shot and visually engaging. Another pro is the music. The score is by Benjamin Wallfish.
Okay, he's British, so it shouldn't be this hard to pronounce.
Wallfish.
Music was great, loved it. Rain. Kaylee Spaney, I think that's how you say her last name, plays Rain, and she had me completely invested in her dreams, struggles, and fears. She's really good. Definitely the right choice here.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, couldn't have asked for a better cast, honestly. I mean, they're all amazing. And they truly care, and they work so hard every day. Kaylee Spaney, obviously, I almost wrote the movie for her. I mean, I met her a few years ago. When I started to write the movie, I usually do a fantasy casting, like I just pick up random photos and I put them on the board, on the wall, so I have a face to connect with the character I'm writing. And the first photo that went up at the board was Kaylee's.
I've been seeing so much online about how she would have been a better Ellie in The Last of Us, the show. And people get into all-out wars on the internet talking about this. It's been everywhere. Like, people are saying, they show a picture of Kaylee Spaney and then they're like, the Ellie we never got. And it's just, oh man. And then you click on the comments and everyone's just like fighting. David Johnson. Probably the biggest tour de force in this film is David Johnson, who plays Andy. Fans have been praising him online for his performance, and I absolutely agree with them. Let's go over why he's so good. Andy's facial expressions are hard to describe. His eyes are wide and innocent, reflecting his only desire to do what's best for Rain. His face seems to quiver at moments of uncertainty. His eyebrows are often up in confusion or uncertainty. His relationship with Rain is so tender and heartwarming, and David Johnson portrays this perfectly. I'd be lying if I said I didn't tear up during certain moments between them. This is an incredible actor, and I'm excited to see where his career takes him from here on out. Cons. This girl. Just this girl. Didn't like her. Now we will be getting into spoiler territory. Ready? Okay. I'd like this portion of the video to be open to fan discussion in the comments, and I would love to hear what you have to say about the film and have fun conversations below. Let's go over some of the fun Easter eggs I wrote down in the theater. Ash, or technically Rook in the film. It wasn't my favorite creative choice, but I love Ian Holm, so I didn't really mind it too much. Man, I miss Ian Holm. Still can't believe he's gone. Rest in peace. That being said, the CGI for him was not great. There were seconds here and there where it really didn't look convincing, but I mean, it was still cool seeing Ash, you know, because it's Ash. Another cool thing, I think the gun they used in the film is from the Colonial Marines game. Near the end of the film, Rain is posing holding a gun. I'm pretty sure that gun I just mentioned. And she looks exactly like Ripley in Aliens. Then, of course, we have Andy saying, "Get away from her, you know." That was cool. It got a laugh out of everyone in the theater. Also, real quick, I'd like to take a moment and all hail every person in that theater that night. Nobody talked. Nobody was on their phone. No annoying, like, full brightness iPhone in front of you. Nobody texted. Like, it was the best theater experience I've had in years. Normally you go to the theater and someone next to you is texting and the people behind you are talking really loud. Man, it was just like, can I just give credit to all of those people that I will never see again and just say thank you? Just thank you. The next one is the shot of Rain in the cryosleep chamber. Looks just like Ripley in the cryosleep chamber at the end of Alien. I thought that was cool. Blowing the alien into space at the end, just like in Alien. That was cool. And finally, Rook saying, "You have my sympathies." I'm sure there are many more that I missed, but those are the ones I wrote down. Now that we're in spoiler territory, I have some more moments I want to share that I loved. Andy's change when the Weyland-Yutani chip is inserted is so freaking creepy. And again, David Johnson killed it here, being able to play kind, innocent Andy and willing to risk human life, ruthless, unforgiving Andy. Do what's best for the company, Andy. Which brings me to my next point, Andy's new directive. Do what's best for us. I loved Rain and Andy's bond. Though one is human and one is not, they love each other like brother and sister. Another cool thing is, years ago when I saw Alien Covenant, which I actually liked by the way, afterward I had this idea of, wouldn't it be a great plot point to have a pregnant girl running around and trying to kill the alien? Well, I feel like my idea was half used here. Kay was kind of some missed potential. I think it would have been extremely powerful to see a pregnant woman fighting till the death to save her own life as well as her unborn child's, preferably as a protagonist and not as its side character. Kay, again, in my opinion, was wasted potential here, and why in the world would she inject herself? Did she really think it would help? And if she did, she barely knew anything about what she was injecting. Why take a risk that big? If you have any thoughts, leave them below for me to read. One thing my husband said after the movie was, people didn't make dumb decisions in this movie, and I loved it. While I agree, I feel that was kind of a dumb decision. Ah yes, now to my favorite point. This is Robert, oh here we go again, Babroxy, thank you. He's a 24-year-old former basketball player. He is 7'7". Now, I heard in a video that his basketball career didn't exactly go as planned because he is so tall that he actually has physical issues that come along with being so tall. So even just working out or trying to bulk up allegedly proved to be difficult on his body. He makes his acting debut now as The Offspring. This thing is freaking creepy. I was hiding behind my hoodie for most of its screen time. I was terrified, but wow, what a fascinating idea to introduce to an alien film. I loved how this was written, and whoever came up with this, thank you. Robert did an amazing job, and I hope he finds much more acting success from here on out. The last moment I'd like to add to my list of favorite moments is this: the first time Rain sees the sun. In closing, I'd like to make a comment about the Critical Drinker's review of this film. You may have heard of him. He's a pretty big movie reviewer. I was surprised to hear that he didn't like the reused quotes from other Alien films, Rook, because it's basically just Ash, and the things I've been referring to as Easter eggs, but that instead, Drinker thinks these are cheap tricks to engage audiences and feel nostalgic. Oh, Drinker, my sweet summer child, for the first time in my life, I want to agree with you, but don't know if I can. Normally I do completely, but while some of the rehashed movie lines and moments were probably lazy recreations of better things gone by, what if that's what Alien fans need right now? In a time when movie after movie comes out and disappoints us so badly, what if all we wanted was a little taste of the past? A little old Alien. It's not how I would have preferred it, but at this point, I'll take what I can get. So many movies nowadays are just bad. Romulus reminded me why I loved the original Alien films in the first place. And I personally feel that it was different enough to set itself apart. Sure, it has plot holes and isn't the best movie I've ever seen, but for a couple of short hours, it took me out of the real world and gave me a place to rest my weary mind and be entertained. I love Critical Drinker. I do agree with some of his points, but I just thought it was interesting that I also disagreed on a couple things. What do you guys think? Well, that's it for now. I'm gonna go escape. First you came, then you left. First I